Hello, and welcome to the LifeWorks podcast, where we share lessons learned from the trenches of life and business to help you achieve more, live more, and be more. I am your host, Mark Botros. I want to draw from a couple of media examples. One of them is George Floyd. When you look at a situation like that in particular, in your view, what happened in the George Floyd situation from a policing perspective? Were the police officers just doing what they were trained to do? Is it bad policing? Was it fear? Is it adrenaline or something else? What's your, let's look at George Floyd, that situation for just a moment.
So in my opinion, number one, the other officers on the scene didn't realize that what this one guy was doing could result in death. Number one, we're not trained to realize that action could result in death. Okay, that was missing. We're not trained on that. Okay. Secondly, that's him. That ain't me. He did that. I didn't. Okay. We were not taught the responsibility of each other. Right. We were not taught that when we see this, we have to react. Not just to the bad guy, but to the good guy. We have to say, we're not trained. We were not trained to say, get off of him. You're doing it improperly. Your technique is not approved. We were taught to go, hey, when they call me in and ask me, what did I see? I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to lie. That's how we dealt with guys like him, the officers. We simply said, somebody will go back and say, hey, Sarge, I just want you to know, he had his knee on his neck. I don't want no part of it. You have people like that. And then you have people who just sit back and go, they ask me, I'm telling the truth. Yeah. And then, of course, you had your few that would just, I don't remember. So, and that's that in Belani talk about, right? We're all out there to try to help and do things better. Yeah. And not to hurt each other. So that's the hard part is which side are you on, Which side are you on? This guy was a bad guy. Yeah, something bad happened, but as we see today, we've got to police ourselves. We've got to say, hey, stop. No, you stop. Bad guy, give me a minute. Let me talk to my partner. Partner, put your gun away. We have to be taught to do that. Yeah. That hasn't been taught. And that's why that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why that happened.
Wow. From a police technique perspective, the guy's knee is on the guy's neck, okay, for 8 minutes and
7:42, 7:46 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They recounted. Actually, it was started off at 8. They ran the tape back and came back and said it was actually 7 minutes and 40 some seconds. It take long.
But still, like, is it from a technique perspective? Is it proper is it just proper technique to have your neck on to have your knee on somebody's neck?
I've never been taught that, actually. Yeah. I've never been taught under any circumstance that's the technique to use. It's funny. I go back to my training and I remember handcuffing and blading your side and putting your knees, but it was always between the shoulder blade. I never recall. Now we've never been trained to do that. That's just, that's what one person chooses to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely not training.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. I think that's helpful because, as I look at it, so I've done a little bit of consulting with law enforcement actually. And one of the things that I learned is that in a threat situation or in a situation of high stress or where there could potentially be a threat, you put the threat down. Clearly the threat was down, right? So, there were he had backup. It's not like he was alone, right?
Right.
So if we were to look at it forensically, I feel like, wow, there's just a lot that went wrong in that particular situation.
Right.
And wow. So I want to talk about another situation that happened just recently. Rayshard Brooks. You're familiar with the case?
The Atlanta case, right?
The Atlanta case. Yeah. And so similar situation, but it starts out, falls asleep. He's drunk in a Wendy's drive-through. police are called, probably, probably an excessive, response to that situation.
Mhm, mhm.
Call the guy an Uber, but you probably saw what happened. He, actually, tased one of the officers, and like, so it escalated very badly, and
Mhm.
then they ended up shooting him. Um, Again, from a technical police work perspective, walk us through that. What did they do right? Did they do wrong? I mean, is a taser a deadly threat weapon? So talk us through that just from a technical police work perspective.
Wow, this is a tough one.
Mm,
It really is a tough one. It really is tough. But it goes back to what you're trained to do and how much time you have to process things in your brain.
yeah.
How much time do you really have? I mean, for me, Monday morning quarterback is easy. I can sit back and watch it Monday morning and go,
Yeah.
why did this even go this far? Right?
Yeah.
Number one, why are we here? The guy is speaking clearly, falls asleep. Robotic policing. Robotic policing. I don't know you, and I know that the law says that if the keys are readily available and you're in behind the wheel, even though your car is not moving, that I can make a DWI arrest.
Mm,
And that's all you're thinking is, I've got all the elements of a crime, and I'm going to make this, and I'm going to be a hero, and I'm going to, check it off that I locked him up.
yeah.
That's the first part. It's why not help them? Why not take the whole different approach and go, all right, forget the DWI. I don't even care about DWI. I got you. The car's not moving. Guy, let's get you where you need to be. Let's
Mm,
get you help. Call some. Actually, Rashad was right. He's like, hey, can you call some? I'm right down the block. I mean, he's speaking clearly. We shouldn't have, as law enforcement, allowed that to escalate. We should have let it stay.
mm,
We should have let it stay. But that's me Monday morning quarterbacking, right? That's me going Monday morning quarterback. Now we don't do that.
yeah.
So then it escalates, and we want to make the arrest. Certainly, if it was me on either side. If I'm behind the wheel of the car, I'm going to cooperate. I'm me personally, how I grew up, who I am.
Mm,
I'm going to go. This is what I have to do. But I don't expect him to be me. Same thing, the officer.
yeah.
I wouldn't have shot. Okay, but that's me.
Right.
But when you're thinking you're doing police work and you think you're doing it the way you were trained, and you got a person that thought you had in custody, tries to run from you, turns to shoot at you, can your brain really say, hey, even if you shoot me, that thing can't hurt me?
Mm,
Or can it? His training is, don't let that object hit me. I'll be done.
mm,
And then I'll lose. And then I don't get to go home tonight.
yeah.
I can't judge him for making that kind of thought process, yeah, having that thought process and making the wrong decision to shoot. I'm I know, I know. I retired from an injury of a
Yeah.
guy that I could have shot. I didn't shoot. Because I didn't, it wasn't the right time. And I'm fortunate to make that right decision. But we could be sitting here talking about and remember the case with Powell back in
Right.
2005 when he shot an unarmed guy.
Right. Right.
So I made the right decision, and I don't want to judge him for making the wrong.
Mm,
That's a tough decision to make.
yeah.
Very tough decision to make. And I think if he was trained better,
Mm,
right? But
hmm.
how can you train for a scenario that you don't ever can never imagine? I just
Right.
couldn't imagine being in a training academy or scenario, and they say, and then the guy takes your taser and runs away. That's where the training would stop. Is the training would stop with, would you shoot him as he runs away with your taser? And then everybody in the class would go, yeah, 99% of the class would go, no, no, let him go. You got his driver's license, his car, go get your taser the next day.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
But I couldn't imagine the training instructor having the forethought to say, but what if he turned and shot that taser toward you?
Mm,
Can you process? Is he a good shot? Is the taser really aimed at me? Is it just aimed in the air to scare me? Now that he's aimed it to scare you, is that enough to shoot him? You can't train for that. You know what I mean? You could try to train for it. So therefore, I choose not to judge.
Yeah.
You know, it's too much.
Yeah.
Too much unless the officer was really equipped with the tools to make the right decision.
Yeah.
That was tough. That was a tough.
Yeah.
It really was a tough one. A lot of us, especially Black officers, and I've talked to many of them.
Yeah.
Some of us says, "Man, he shouldn't have shot that guy," and the other are going, "If he had shot at you, you think? I mean, you know the gun can, that can put you on the ground,
Right?
And we're kind of like 50-50 with it. We're like, I don't think I'd have taken the shot. I know I wouldn't have taken the shot. In fact, I wouldn't have gave chase.
Yeah. 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 Just
So,
let him go, right?
One thing you learn when you get this is, I'm gonna call my buddies back at the department, and they're gonna bring out this big tank. They're gonna catch you at 3:00 in the morning, sleep,
Right.
and then we're gonna make an arrest. I'm not gonna chase you when I know who you are.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
But that's from growing up in the community and seeing the other side of it. That's not. I can't expect everybody to feel that way. Everybody wants to chase and say, "I got him," but I credit, white and Black officers who taught me early on. Where's he going to go? Yeah. The kid runs from you. Where's he going to go? Then you go get a warrant for that. You get him later. Live to fight another day. Everything.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating. Or sign up for my free updates at my website, markabotros.com, and you'll never miss a post. If this was really helpful to you, the highest compliment you can pay is to share it with someone else. Or feel free to connect with me on social media. I would love to hear from you.